So now we've reached the next set of nawasikh, the next group of sisters. The author, that's Imam Ibn Hisham, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon him. He said, Asul, original text, Athani inna wa anna litta'kid. The second group of abrogators for the judgment, abrogators of the judgment of the mubtada and the khabar. The second group consists of inna and anna for emphasis. Each one has its own specialties, such as inna is used for starting. Anna is not used for starting. Like if you say anna, that means there was something ahead of it. You can't start with that. He says for emphasis, but they have other meanings and they have usages. So we'll see what he has for us, inshallah. Walakin lilistidrak. And okay, so inna usually is going to be translated as surely or verily or certainly or the like. It's for emphasis. And anna is usually going to be translated as that. But that's a different that than that. So you have the Arabic word that, and you have the Arabic word anna. Both of these translate as that, but they're two different that's. Even in English, there's two different that's. So that's a pointing noun. That. Anna. Sorry, subhanAllah. That. And you're pointing at something. Anna is not even a noun, it's a particle. So it means that. Yani, like you say, A'lamu anna Zaydan qa'im. I know that Zayd is standing. This is not a pointing noun here. So the word that in English is not always a pointing noun or what they call demonstrative noun. Sometimes it's demonstrative noun, sometimes it's other than demonstrative noun or pronoun. They would call it pronoun actually. Demonstrative pronoun. Walakinna for istidrak. So lakinna means but, or however, or the likes of that. Some sentences have some nuanced translations, but standard is going to be but or however, or something like that. For istidrak, and the meaning of istidrak is catching you before you misunderstand. Catching you before you misunderstand. We'll see what Ibn Hisham has. But an example, like the example that's in the explanation of Al-Ajur Rumiyah, if someone were to say, Zaydun Shuja', Zayd is brave, then you might assume from that he has other noble qualities. If he's brave, which is a noble quality, then perhaps he has other noble qualities too. So to catch the listener before he assumes wrongly, you'd say, for example, lakinnahu bakhil. However, he's a miser. So Zaydun shuja' lakinnahu bakhil. Zayd is brave, but he's a miser. So what's that? But he's a miser. That's to ward off your assumption or misconception. That's the meaning of istidrak. Istidrak means to catch something or catch up to something or catch what was missed. To catch what was missed. Like the book of Al-Hakim called Al-Mustadrak. Al-Mustadrak comes from the same word, istidrak. Why did Al-Hakim name his book? Why did Al-Hakim name his book Al-Mustadrak? Because he wants to catch what Al-Bukhari and Muslim missed, but would be authentic according to them. وَكَأَنَّ لِلتَّشْبِيهِ أَوِ الظَّنِّ. And كَأَنَّ, which means like that. كَأَنَّ. So it's being treated here كَأَنَّ as one particle. Not a kaf, which is a harf jar, and then anna, which is the one we already mentioned. But we'll see, what does Ibn Hisham have for us here? What talk might come pertaining to ka'anna? Because might jump out to you that it means like that. Yani it means like that, actually. So then you would ask, well, is it one particle or is it two particles? So it's counted here as one particle. So we'll see what we have coming. لِلتَّشْبِيهِ أَوِ الظَّنِّ is for comparison or for thinking. Thinking here means like assuming or surmising. وَلَيْتَ لِلتَّمَنِّي. And later, that means wishing. Yani, I don't know, like really one word only going to translate later as yani being the particle it is. Seems to me it's going to translate into a verb. We'll see. لِلتَّمَنِّي, it is for hoping. Yani wishing, longing, or yani let's just say hoping for now, so I don't get some words crossed. For hoping, at-tamanni. وَلَعَلَّ لِلتَّرَجِّي أَوِ الْإِشْفَاقِ أَوِ التَّعْلِيلِ. And la'alla is for taraji, or yani taraji means expectation. Expectation. Awil ishfaq. Ishfaq means longing, longing. Longing, like missing something, missing. Longing for, or missing something. Awi ta'lil, or for reasoning, yani giving a reason. For giving a reason. So a lot of people, their standard translation for la'alla is perhaps. Maybe, but if we want to always use perhaps for la'alla, then we need to look into the word perhaps to see how far it goes. How many connotations does it have, or denotations? Because la'alla could mean so that. So does perhaps mean so that? Maybe. Yani needs some looking into. But when Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, fasting was made obligatory on you, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So maybe a lot of people would translate that as perhaps you will become pious. Perhaps you will have God-fearingness. And la'alla here in the ayah, la'allakum tattaqun, means so that, it's for ta'lil here, so that you would become God-fearing. So if you say, perhaps you will become God-fearing, does that mean so that? Maybe. Yani needs some investigation, the English words, to see how close or far they are from each other. He says, فَيَنْصِبْنَ الْمُبْتَدَأَ أَسْمًا لَهُنْ وَيَرْفَعْنَ الْخَبَرَ خَبَرًا لَهُنْ. These particles make the mubtada mansub as their noun, and they make the khabar marfu' as their predicate. They make the mubtada accusative. They make the mubtada accusative as their noun, and they make the predicate, they make the khabar nominative or subjective as their predicate. So it does the reverse of Kana and her sisters. These sisters do the reverse of Kana and her sisters. And so what are these called? These are called inna wa akhawatuha. Inna wa akhawatuha. So inna, she is the big sister of all of these. And what is it, yani? What's that called? Who can remind us? When you have out of a group of words, one that, yani, like when you say inna wa akhawatuha, and when you say kana wa akhawatuha, why do these, or what my question actually is, what do you call these ones that their name is put in the front? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ummul Bab. Ummul Bab. So out of all the sisters of Kana, Kana is Ummul Bab, and Inna is Ummul Bab. So she's the Inna is the and the Bab is the chapter, mother of the chapter. And why would something be Ummul Bab? Because it has features that the other ones don't have. The one that has the most special features is Ummul Bab. Ash-Sharh, the explanation. الثاني من نواسخ المبتدأ والخبر. The second group or second category of abrogators for the mubtada and the khabar. And when we say abrogators for the mubtada and the khabar, it means abrogators of the judgment of the mubtada and the khabar. So tell me, what is the judgment of the mubtada? What is the judgment of the mubtada? Since we're talking about abrogating the judgment of the mubtada, what is the judgment of the mubtada? 5, 4, marfu', okay, or rafa' if you want. You can, yes. Correct. The judgment of the mubtada is that it's marfu', yani nominative. And what is the judgment of the khabar? What is the judgment of the khabar? Five. Also, it's marfu'. Correct. So, the mubtada originally is marfu', and the khabar is also marfu'. So you say Zaydun qa'imun with a dhamma on both of them. So when you abrogate this judgment, in order to abrogate the judgment, you need something to come upon the mubtada and the khabar and to assimilate them. Now we're on the second group of such words. Inna wa akhawatuha ma yansibu al-isma wa yarfa'u al-khabar. That which makes the noun, which used to be the mubtada, accusative, and makes the predicate nominative or subjective. So you say, after you said Zaydun qa'imun, you say inna Zaydan qa'imun. And if it were kana, you would have said kana Zaydun qa'iman, kana Zaydun qa'iman. Hold on. Okay. Ibn Hisham says, وَهُوَ سِتَّةُ أَحْرُفٍ. This group comprises of 6 particles. Inna wa anna. The first 2 are inna and anna. Wa ma'nahuma at-tawkid. And their meaning is emphasis. So I'm going to remind you here, when it comes to the huruf, the particles in Arabic, there's 3 parts of speech. If I just say it in English words, we're going to say there's 3 parts of speech: nouns, verbs, and particles. That's it. And really, this is true, even in English. And it's just that when they said there's 8 parts of speech in English, it's because they don't know how to categorize. And someone says, how could you say they don't know how to categorize? Those are professors and great scholars who've been doing this for years, centuries. If they knew how to categorize, then they wouldn't have said 8 parts of speech. And if you want to defend 8 parts of speech because they were scholars, so-called, then let's discuss it. You'll find that there's only 3 parts of speech. So anyway, there's 3 parts of speech: nouns, verbs, and particles. A noun, ism, is what has a meaning in itself and is not associated with time. A verb is what has a meaning in itself, yani a self-contained meaning. A noun has a self-contained meaning and it's not related to time, like bait, house, rajul, man. A verb also has self-contained meaning, but it is associated with time, like daraba, he hit, Yadribu, he hits. But just take the he out. It's there for the translation. Daraba, hit in the past. Or let me use a different one. Akala, ate. Yakulu, eats. And the harf, the particle, is what does not have a self-contained meaning or its own meaning or an independent meaning. It has a meaning. It has to have a meaning or else it wouldn't be a word. It has a meaning, but not an independent one. This concept of a non-independent meaning, yani a dependent meaning, might not be grasped by some people. And maybe what helps to make that closer to your understanding is to say these have an abstract meaning, some abstract meaning, something that in a lot of cases, not always, you can't even really translate it per se into one word. I mean, when I say translate, means one word for one word. He says, inna wa anna wa ma'nahum at-tawkid. Their meaning is emphasis. Tawkid means emphasis. So that doesn't mean that inna translates as the word tawkid. It doesn't. You don't translate the word inna as emphasis. If you say inna Zaydan qa'imun, this doesn't mean emphasis. Zayd is standing. So it doesn't work like that. Rather, it means something like surely Zayd is, verily, or certainly, truly. So it means you want to emphasize. Or there's another word, intensify. These are intensifiers. That's their abstract meaning, not something that necessarily needs one word to translate it into, but you need to understand its meaning, its abstract meaning, and then you're going to translate it appropriately in the sentence. Inna wa anna wa ma'nahum at-tawkid. These two, inna and anna, their meaning is, their abstract meaning is, or their significance is intensification. Or their connotation is intensification. Taqul, you say Zaydun qa'im. Like I told you, so that's your standard original sentence, nominal sentence. Zayd is a standard. Zayd is a standard. ثم تدخل إن لتأكيد الخبر. وتقريره. Then you add or insert. Then you insert inna. Look what he says here. لتأكيد الخبر. For emphasizing the predicate. For emphasizing the predicate. Very important. So I have a question for you. May Allah answer the dua of who answers this question. What's the indication for you that inna and anna are emphasizing the predicate? What's the indication for you that inna and anna are emphasizing the predicate? Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm answering the question. May Allah answer my dua. Ameen. The indication for you that they are emphasizing the predicate is the fact that the khabar remains marfu'. The noun becomes mansub. So out of the states of i'rab, which one is the highest and which one is most significant? It's rafa'. Rafa' is most significant i'rab. So maybe now, all this time, you've just been saying, okay, mansub, put a fatha, marfu', put a dhamma, majroor, put a kasra, ahlan wa sahlan. And you're not understanding the meaning of the state of i'rab itself. It's not just put a fatha this one, put a dhamma this one, put a kasra this one, not just that. Rather, marfu' word has superior status. Marfu' rafa' has superior status amongst all the i'rab. And then nasb has second level. Rafa' is the general. Nasb, let's say rafa' is the general, nasb is major. He's not a colonel, he's major. And then jar is yani sergeant. Jar is sergeant. And jazm is a corporal at best. Okay, so that's one fact there. But also, when you say Zaydun qa'imun, okay, both of them are marfu'. Zaydun qa'imun. They're both marfu'. Okay. But Zayd still has superior status to qa'im because Zayd is the mubtada. Yani, he is the subject of the sentence. He's the one we're talking about. And qa'im is the khabar, is informing us, is what's telling on Zayd, or telling about Zayd. So Zayd is most important here, not qa'im, because he's mubtada. Now, when you bring inna, and you say, inna Zaydan qa'imun, it's like, what did inna do? It's like inna took the most important word, which was Zayd here, because he's the one being told about, and bumped him down a rank by making him mansub, and put the khabar up by keeping it, or making it rather, making it marfu'. So we're balancing meanings here. This is how Arabic language has yani so fine-tuned in meanings. Yani Arabic language, we gave the analogy of a radar. It's like a meaning radar. Enables you to fine-tune your meanings so much that even here, what's the subject of the sentence is being made inferior in a way to the predicate. And what Ibn Hisham is saying, this is my way of explaining what Ibn Hisham is saying. And what Ibn Hisham is saying is what the scholars say, is what inna is doing is giving emphasis to the predicate. Giving emphasis to the predicate. How do we know that it has the predicate has the emphasis? Because it's marfu'. So the predicate is emphasized here over the noun that the predicate is telling about. So let me know if that's not clear for you, please. So inna wa anna wa ma'nahuma tawkid. Their meaning is emphasis or intensification. Taqulu Zaydun qa'im. You say Zayd is a stander. ثم تدخل إن لتأكيد الخبر وتقريره. Then you insert inna for intensifying the predicate and verifying it. So you'd say inna Zaydan qa'imun. So now it means verily Zayd is a stander. And maybe the emphasis doesn't show up in the translation. Maybe that's why it might not appear for you what's meant here when you're dealing with the language barrier. Whereas if you're looking at it purely from Arabic and understanding fundamentally how rafa' is stronger than nasb, then you can see it easy. But when you translate, maybe it doesn't really show up clearly. Inna Zaydan qa'imun. وكذلك أن, likewise أن, إلا أنها لا بد أن يسبقها كلام, except that for أن it is necessary, it is unavoidable that there is some talk that comes ahead of it. كقولك بلغني أو أعجبني ونحو ذلك, like for you to say بلغني, so you'd say بلغني أن زيدا قائم, or أعجبني, so you'd say أعجبني أن زيدا قائم. بلغني means it reached me that, so you're going to translate أن usually as that. It reached me that Zayd is a stander, or it impresses me that Zayd is a stander. I think Anna has something that I still didn't put my finger on too. So maybe inshallah I'll put my finger on it as I review with you, brothers and sisters. He says walakinna, and lakinna with the shadda on the noon, wa ma'naha al-istidrak, its meaning or its connotation or its significance is to catch you before you misconceive. وهو تعقيب الكلام برفع ما يتوهم ثبوته أو نفيه, which is, the meaning of istidrak is a type of criticism of the talk. It's like the speaker is criticizing his own statement by lifting or removing what could be imagined to be confirmed or denied. So he said something, and then it's like he criticized his own statement by giving it an adjustment. You call, it is said, Zaydun alim, Zayd is a scholar. فَيُوهِمُ ذَلِكَ أَنَّهُ صَالِحٌ, and so that gives the impression that he is pious. فَتَقُول, and so you say, لَكِنَّهُ فَاسِقٌ, however, he's a major sinner. وَتَقُول, and you say, مَا زَيْدٌ شُجَاعٌ, Zayd is not brave. فَيُوهِمُ ذَلِكَ أَنَّهُ لَيْسَ بِكَرِيمٍ, so that would give the impression, or might give the impression, that he's not generous. فَتَقُول, so then you'd say, لَكِنَّهُ كَرِيمٌ, however, he is generous, or but he is generous, or maybe even though he is generous, or he is generous though. وَكَأَنَّ لِلتَّشْبِيهِ, and كَأَنَّ is for comparison. كَقَوْلِكَ, or if you want simile, for simile. Like for you to say, كَأَنَّ زَيْدًا أَسَدٌ, as if Zayd is a lion, or, yeah, like that, as if. So, in my translation here, as if. As if Zayd is a lion. أو يظن, or for surmising, suspecting. كقولك, like for you to say, كأن زيدا كاتب, as if Zayd is a writer. As if Zayd is a writer means I think he is. وَلَيْتَ لِلتَّمَنِّي. And later is for hoping. وَهُوَ طَلَبُ مَا لَا طَمَعَ فِيهِ. And what's meant by hoping here is seeking what one really has no hope to get. That's what's meant by it here. That which really, it's desiring what one is hopeless for. To desire what one is hopeless for or hopeless about. كقول الشيخ. Like what the sheikh said. I don't know who's the sheikh here. ألا ليت الشباب يعود يوما. Okay, sheikh mean old man. Like for an old man to say, or for that old man who was a poet, when that old man said in his poetry, ألا ليت الشباب يعود يوما فأخبره بما فعل المشيب فأخبره بما فعل المشيب. Lo, if only youth would return one day, then I would tell him about what old age did. If only youth would return one day, and then I would tell him about what old age did. MashaAllah. That's clever. Oh, ma fihi usr. Or the meaning of hoping here is seeking what is difficult. What is difficult to attain. كقول المعدم الآيس. Like for a hopeless poor person to say, ليت لي قنطارا من الذهب. If only I had a mountain of gold. It's a rough translation there. If only I had a mountain of gold. He's so poor and hopeless. He says, if only I had a mountain of gold. Or something like that. Yani. So later, how is it translated? Right now I just translated it as if only. ليت الشباب يعود يوما. If only youth would come back one day. ليت لي قنطارا من الذهب. If only I had a mountain of gold. And maybe there's other words too you're going to use. Because remember, don't think about Arabic as here I have this word in my language, and then Arabic translates like this. The Arabic translates like this. Like you find one Arabic word, and then you just put one word in your language, whatever your language is. And then here's a word in Arabic, and then just one standard word in your language like this. Not like that. That's very stiff. You're going to come out with stiff translation, not fluid, not relatable a lot of times. Rather, you just want to understand the meaning abstractly so that when you translate it into your language, that you can come with translations that are smooth and relatable and accurate. وَلَعَلَّ لِلتَّرَجِّي. And la'alla is for taraji. What did I say taraji means? Expectation. وَهُوَ طَلَبُ الْمَحْبُوبِ الْمُسْتَقْرَبِ حُصُولُهُ. This means that it's for seeking something beloved that's inevitable. Something that's beloved and inevitable. For seeking what is beloved and inevitable. كقولك, like for you to say, لعل زيدا هالك. So maybe Zayd is dead. So if you said la'alla, that means that's what you expect to be the case. لعل زيدا هالك. Maybe Zayd is dead. Although I'm translating it as maybe, and maybe there's other ways you can translate that. Only ta'lil, or la'alla is for a reason, giving a reason. كقوله ta'ala, like when Allah says, فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ. O Moses and Aaron, say to the Pharaoh a gentle word, so that, لَعَلَّهُ, so that he يَتَذَكَّرُ, so that he would take heed. Because he's so arrogant. You can't be rough with this guy. He's too arrogant. Speak to him gently so that he can accept what you are saying. لِكَيْ يَتَذَكَّرُ, and the meaning here is, as I've translated, so that, لِكَيْ, so that, يَتَذَكَّرُ, he will take heed. نَصَّ عَلَى ذَلِكَ الْأَخْفَشِ. Al-Akhfash documented that. Wallahu a'lam. We'll stop there. Any question? What's the difference between saying ahruf and huruf? Don't they mean the same thing? Like in the saying of Ibn Hisham, وَهِيَ سِتَّةُ أَحْرُف, why didn't he say, or what, وَهُوَ سِتَّةُ, or وَهِيَ, he said here, right? وَهُوَ, okay. Why he said huwa, what it goes back to? Athani. Goes back to Athani. Okay. One of those is Jam'u Qillah, and one of those is Jam'u Kathra. Arabic has plural for a little bit and plural for a lot. Plural for a little bit and plural for a lot. Jam'u Qillah, plural of few. Jam'u Kathra, plural of many. Many means 10 or more. Few means 9 or less. But the plurals of kathra and qillah, of few or many, are interchangeable. I don't remember which one is which here. Ahruf or huruf. I don't remember. But in the Mutammima, in the explanation of the Mutammima of Al-Ajurrumiyyah, Al-Faqihi mentions which one is which. And I don't remember in which spot also he said that. So if you search or look in a book of Sarf like Shadh al-Arf, Shadh al-Arf will tell you, because Shadh al-Arf, he has a chapter for the patterns of the plurals of few and the plurals of many. So he's going to tell you there. So if you look in there, you'll see which one is which. So ahruf, the pattern of ahruf is af'ul, and the pattern of huruf is fu'ul. So which one of those is the pattern for many, and which one of those is the pattern for few? Review it, inshallah. If you find it, let me know, please. I'll leave it to you, inshallah, although I could look myself. Perhaps you'll benefit me. لَعَلَّكَ تَنْفَعُنِي, maybe you'll benefit me. Or so that you benefit me. See how that maybe could mean so that, maybe they could be meaning the same thing. So language is so fluid. That's why you don't want to just think like really stiffly only. This word translates like this. This word translates like this, and that's it. Subhanaka Allahumma. You said in the second part of the Shahada, When it is mentioned Inna Muhammadar Rasulullah to emphasize the word messenger, Anna. Yes. Okay. Are you asking me? It doesn't look like a question. Well, that's the rule. Then I'm going to say that because that's the rule. وَأَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَأَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. So puts emphasis on the predicate. آمين وفيكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.